Hey guys, welcome. We are live. It's the Hot Pot Podcast. I've got TJ with me today. He's from Barts in London, dental school in London, obviously. So, TJ, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Thanks for inviting me.
No, it's been good. It's been a while since we spoke, isn't it?
Yeah, it has been a while.
Are you back at uni now? How's that going?
I am back at uni, but it's debatable. I should have stayed in Wakefield. But yeah, it's all right. It's okay. It's interesting. Just moved places as well. So new flat, getting used to all that. Uni-wise, and then like once a week max at the moment will be actually in uni, and the rest of it will be online.
That's not a lot at all, is it?
Yeah, no. Considering I'm in fourth year now, I can't say I've done much. Then at first it was definitely a little bit.
Yeah.
Like seeing only once a week, run plastic teeth. There's no sort of patience. But I guess everyone's in the same sort of boat, and hopefully, eventually that will change.
Yeah, because obviously you want to actually know how to do some teeth stuff by the time you finish, wouldn't you? I think everyone's in the same boat. So yeah, like you say, it seems a bit dumb that they've sent you all the way down to London to pay some mad rents, and you're not actually doing anything.
Yeah, we won't talk about the rent. Like, everyone's complaining about the tuition fees, but I'm thinking the same amount as well. So what about that?
Yeah, it's not great, is it? It's not great. Yeah, but hopefully you'll get back into the clinics soon enough. I mean, well, you'll obviously have to see what happens. But yeah, I suppose it's not the best time for dental students anywhere in the world, is it?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I'm trying to figure out who I sympathise with the most. Like the people going into DFT now, I guess that must be difficult too. But at the same time, at least they did have some sort of period where they were seeing loads of patients and all that, and we still haven't had that yet. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know whether you guys are just gonna have to surely you just have to do like an extra 6 months or something, because I can't see how else you can get that training in.
Yeah, I mean there's some talk of like if people don't get the experience, still letting them graduate, but then not the GDC register or something straight away until you've had more time in DFT practice, and other things that we in talks about. But if I really don't want to stay at the 6 months, but again, I guess I'd understand if we're not ready.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting paid, I mean, maybe that makes it a bit better or something. If they were actually going to pay you for that time, because otherwise it would be just like a bit of a joke, really, wouldn't it?
Well, the thing is that people always say as well that I don't know, you can speak on behalf of them, but like you don't learn that much in dental school anyway compared to what you learn in DFT. So I don't know how much we'd be missing out on. Let's say it was optional to either take an extra year or whatever to stay in dental school versus just going into DFT and kind of learning on the job. I don't know what would be the best use of my time though.
I think it's the impossible question. I think like a lot of people are going to be in the same boat, so maybe there's going to be some sort of, I don't know, adjustment made that you can pick up that extra experience somehow. I suppose the best thing to do is just not to try and run before you can walk. I think everyone always says that, but
yeah,
it's probably more relevant than ever now, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I guess also as well, another problem that could arise is if, let's say, a different dental school, they've already got all their stuff sorted out and they've gone for experience to graduate, but then they say to another set of students in different uni that you need to stay for an extra 6 months. I don't get how the national recruitment will then work. Some people will be ready, some people won't. Would we have to wait like to the next year? But then, or if there's loads of people next year because we'll have the year below and all of us. I don't know. There's so many problems that could come out.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just going to have to, get the wallet out and just eat the costs and get people trained up properly. However they do that is going to be up to them, obviously. But I'm not a fan of national recruitment anyway. I think anyone who's watched, who is it we had on, Molly Deacon and Hira, I was slating national recruitment like the whole way through. So
Well, what was it about it? Like, give me a summary. What's it about?
So I mean, there's so many things which are just really dumb about it. Like, let's just say, for example, you've got an ill father or mother. I mean, we can use that as an example. There's plenty more. People with there'll be guys who are married, for example, in your year or something, or there'll be someone with a kid, and now you're going to national recruitment, and they give you about 3 weeks notice of where you're going. So what if you're a key kind of part of a household where, I don't know, you're caring for someone, or you're responsible for children, schooling, all sorts of things. And that's just, off the top of my head. There's also, other groups who might be better off staying closer to home, and there's no like option to say that in any way. And think about it. Would you be better off working somewhere near Wakefield where you can work at home? I live at home and work, close by home, save a lot of money, so you've got less worries on your head, as opposed to being slung out to Cornwall, where it's pretty dead.
Yeah, well, the aim for me is to hopefully come back to Wakefield and be near there. But I guess what the alternative be? Let's say a lot of people want to stay in there, Northwest London, for example. Like, is there enough practices to accommodate all of them? I guess
that's the golden question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. You surely want to make... The point I made was, do you want to make a good dentist, or do you want to fill gaps in the NHS?
It's probably a bit of both.
See, I've got no interest in, filling gaps in NHS, and, I've already left it. So that's my advice. Like, I mean, that's... That's kind of how I see it. Like, if you want to make the best possible dentist, you're going to give people the best possible opportunity, and slinging them random places in the country for a year isn't going to help anyone's development. And I think with a lot of people, actually hinders them, because it's a difficult time. You're not actually done, like you say, a lot of dentistry in uni, and now you're living somewhere completely new. Again, not even like uni, where you've got your friends for 5 years have been, built up, and you've got a bit of support network. Now you're just slung into the middle of nowhere, in some weird practice, and it's probably rural. And the practices are probably really nice. Most of them are, but it's going to be in some strange area, most likely. It's not going to be, there's not going to be many places in central Manchester, for example, where you're just like loving life. There might be a few. But the likelihood is you're going to be out in the sticks.
Yeah. So was your TFT like a negative experience, would you say? Or?
A very mixed experience. Like, I loved the practice and like everyone that worked there, but it was, Selby, and that is what an hour other side of Leeds from me. So if I was coming from home, it's an hour and a half drive there and back every day. So you end up having to live there, because what's the point in moving out and then living in Leeds or York when you're still going to drive 45 minutes to an hour?
Yeah.
So it's like a impossible situation. There's no point moving out of home to then also have to commute again. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it was the experience I got was very good. But I reckon there's probably people that I know who wouldn't do well in that situation.
Yeah.
I think that was my point. It's not necessarily something bad that's happened to me, or like being ungrateful for what happened, but just like common sense dictates, someone's got a kid and they're in schools, then surely that takes precedent than other things.
Yeah, I would have thought, to be fair, that would have been a chance to say it's in any situations like that. But yeah, I guess if that's not accommodated for, that's quite tough for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of how I saw it, so who knows what will happen. How have you found Barts as a whole, though? Because I've had a few friends who qualified from Barts, and they loved it down there. They say, I'm just getting comfortable. They say oral surgery is pretty well taught there. Is that how you've found things? Obviously, you've not done a lot of clinical, but how have you found the whole experience?
Yeah, to be honest, I do love Barts. I think it is great. I feel like it's obviously difficult with nothing to compare it to, really, except from like friends' anecdotes. But I feel like it's very friendly environment. I feel like it's quite easy to get along with most people, and everyone's kind of there to help each other.
Yeah, that's good.
I heard from other unis that might not be the case everywhere. It's like I think I was talking to someone from King's, and they were saying that I think I mentioned something like, oh yeah, I just used someone else's pass down or something, and then he kind of looked at me in shock, being like, that would never happen at King's. Like, everyone's a lot more competitive and trying to do stuff for themselves there. So
that's I think that's probably, I think we had notes. Well, if you know David Breton, he literally gave me and my cousin all of his notes. So there's some really cool guys that were at Newcastle. But then there were people that you knew were being really, really secretive about when they've got stuff from other people. So I think there's probably a bit of both everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah, I'd say in general, Barts, in general. Yeah, if I didn't apply to King's, but if I went there and I found out it was like that, I don't know how much I would have enjoyed it, because like, if everyone else is being like that, I guess it kind of makes you want to be like that as well. But then that's not helping the situation at all. But then I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. But it's good to hear that, you know, you've got a decent year. It sounds like, you know, people who aren't too OTT and stuff.
Yeah, I think the tutors are really good as well. But like, I don't. There's not many tutors I'd say that like I don't get along with, or that are really against what I'm like. I think the majority of them are like really, really helpful. I think, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one, because I think obviously to do teaching in a hospital, you must be taking quite a big hit to your pay. So it makes sense that most people are actually there, willing to teach and willing to help people. But then again, I know there's a couple here and there which are a bit nasty. So then I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I think you get that in all walks of life, don't you?
Yeah.
So I think that's that, isn't it? So I'm getting really Yorkshire that's really funny, actually. You know, when I have like someone from Yorkshire, it comes out a little bit, and I don't normally have that.
Yeah, that's true. It's nice to hear an Northern accent, you know.
Yeah, and normally my accent's like completely just neutral, you know, not quite newscaster, because I'm not quite at that level, but it's a bit more, you know, standard.
Yeah, I don't even realize which words I'm saying that are actually that Northern until I hear someone else. Yeah, there's an example when I met someone from Kings that was from Rochdale or something, and then he said something, and I realized that I hadn't heard that in a long time, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely like a Northern word. I can't. It might be an inter or something. Inter.
Oh yeah, like killing like syllables and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I didn't even realize I said that. But then, yeah, it's definitely, when you've been in London for a while, you start to pick it up a lot more. And even when I go back home and I'm speaking to our friends and they're killing syllables up there, then I definitely realize again.
Yeah, I think the one thing that really got me, because we had some Londoners in my halls when I was there, is like how they say ball. It's like boo. I don't. Yeah. That's not even. None of those letters are in the word, man. What's that? BEWW. I don't know what that is.
I remember. I don't think, but we had something called pass. You know, as like support or something like that.
Right.
And in first year, it's like when the second years teach lectures from first year that might be difficult, whatever. And I remember saying, "Oh, you guys going to pass?" And everyone's looking at me and saying, "What?" And I think, "Oh, pass." And I'm like, "Oh," but I can't even. That word "pass" doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's no R in the word for that to sound.
Yeah, like I'm kind of pass part. Yeah, I would say pretty much the same. I think it's one of those. It's funny how I was watching a podcast the other day, and it was some English guy with Rogan, and he was talking about he'd gone to, like, was it somewhere in Louisiana, and like he was at some like diner, and the lady there just couldn't understand a word he said, and she goes, "Oh, do you speak English?" And this guy flipped. Because he's like,
yeah, you would though, wouldn't you? Like,
can you speak English? And this guy flipped because he was a proper like Londoner, and like Queen's English, you know, saying things really properly and everything. And he just like, you couldn't handle it. Oh, it was jokes.
absolutely someone says.
Yeah.
The American accent though, yeah, I also feel like when I listen to podcasts, when I finally find ones for like even like dentistry podcasts or finance ones, finance is like quite a big one because a lot of the podcasts are from America and they're speaking in these like obnoxious accents. They have this, the intro is always, really exaggerated, like welcome to starring, like all this stuff. When you find a British one, it's just like he's finding like like a bit of calm, like now I can understand these guys. These guys are down to earth. Like it generally feels like the person is completely different. This feels like I can understand these guys compared to America. It just seems very like flashy and I don't know. It's completely different.
I don't even have an intro. that's where I'm at.
That's the full British version of podcasting, right?
Maybe
there.
I need an intro. What have you got as yours? Have you got something down? Have you got something decent?
Yeah. So I have like a little jingle that I always use to start, and then when I can't be bothered, which is pretty bad, I should do it all the time. But then I'll give like my own little intro, like, "Oh, today I was speaking with Javier Kazi. He's blah 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 blah," and then like summarize, I don't know, some of the points, and then I play the jingle and then do it. And I recently started with an outro as well.
Have you?
So one of my friends pointed out, he's like, "Oh, it might be good for you to have an outro." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, I probably should have." But yeah, that was like the kick I needed. Let me just record something.
Do you not feel really weird when you're trying to do one of these, like, and you just, because that's why I started doing the Insta lives on my own, to get more comfortable talking into camera when there's literally no one there. It's really weird, and you have to like G yourself up, and I'm pretty well, very laid back and very relaxed usually.
Yeah.
And then you have to bring the energy, otherwise you just tune out.
Yeah. Do you like, you won't have to, but do you ever like re-film stuff or like, "Oh, that doesn't sound right, let me redo it"? Because I'm like, I barely ever re-record stuff. Like even if I stutter or like say the wrong word, I'll just like, I don't know, I'll just say it again. And then that's fine, I don't edit it. Whereas some other people like really pedantic. Like if they say the wrong word, I was like, okay, scrap the whole thing. I'm gonna start re-recording.
So on the Instagram tutorials I've been doing, I let the camera run, and I have the points on screen. So I've usually got like a pretty. It's not like a script, but it's like a framework of what I'm gonna say, and I'll go through it, and if I make a mistake, then what I'll do is I'll pause a little second, and then say the line again, and then I just chop it out afterwards. And then, because I'm trying to do jump cuts, where it jumps from one point to the other, really snappy. So I'm trying to do it like that. Otherwise, I think people lose interest a little bit. I'm not very good at it yet, because some of the guys on YouTube are just like banging at like, keeping the attention. So I need to learn a bit more about that. I think that's definitely something that I've not quite clocked yet. But I've done 6 videos like that so far, which is where the football ones are helping, because I'm talking into camera for 20 minutes. 27 minutes the other day, non-stop, and I do those live with basically no one watching because I've got no subscribers, which I'm not really fussed about. And then I'm just trying to get like, stop saying all the funny and all that sort of stuff, and then I don't. Well, that's kind of the idea, like just to try and improve by doing that.
I guess that's people I've seen that edit, they literally edit it out in the grand scheme of things, because then it just seems like point 1 this and then like snap point 2 that. I never really considered that, to be honest, but it definitely makes a lot of sense.
I think people notice that kind of thing, especially when you're doing like a tutorial video and there's it's not live or anything, so you can't, well, although we've only got a few people watching at the moment, they can't like actually comment in and then get involved that way, so you need to hold the attention in a different way. So you have to like have clever transitions maybe, or you need to have like a more upbeat version of yourself somehow. I don't know if these guys like have a coffee and then do like a couple of star jumps and press up.
Just keep a pre-workout and then you that's the thing though, like YouTube production quality is just skyrocketed. Like the entry, I feel like the entry level is a lot higher now, where like people just have amazing thumbnails. People have like great intros. People using like proper software, like I don't know, Premiere Pro or Final Cut to do
Yeah.
everything. The transition, they have the overlays with the Instagram handles, and that, yeah, the entry level is so much higher. And I feel like that translating to Instagram a lot now as well, where the production quality is just insane. Like in some of these advice, I don't know, people post like I don't know, 3 things you didn't know about oral hygiene or something like that, and then they're posting like, you know, like 3 pictures or whatever, and the quality is insane now. Like there's so
Yeah, I mean, you can see the difference. I think you can tell the difference when someone's taken something on a DSLR versus taking it on their iPhone. And maybe people don't fully recognize that at first, but I think once you've got like a bit of a trained eye for it, you just go, okay, now that looks pro. And that's what me and my friend, we've been trying to do, like instead of going out and just taking things on our iPhone, because we went to Chicago, me and him, for midwinter, that midwinter meeting, and we didn't take, neither of us took our cameras, which is really dumb. But now we've taken our cameras. So we did like a photo walk in Manchester, and I could tell the difference between the photos I took them before and then the ones that I put on after. Like you just go, oh my god, that's so much better, and you can color it and everything. So we've got pretty deep into it.
You say even to a trained eye, but I think like even someone that doesn't know what it is, they won't be able to maybe put the finger on what it is. They'll definitely be able to tell that there's a clear difference in whatever.
Yeah,
and they'll get in the quality.
And then it's color grading as well. Have you done a lot of color grading with yours?
Honestly, I don't know much about all that type of stuff.
We'll leave that for another guest then. But I'm it's mad because you can change some, like the colors in the camera. It's not like our eyes, and it guesses what the colors are basically. So you can change the colors to however you want them to look afterwards. Not necessarily changing the photo, but just changing the emphasis for stuff, and just makes it look like moody or joyful or whatever, just by tweaking like temperature, colors and stuff. It's mad. There's like a whole science behind it. But yeah, let's move on, because I don't think you know too much about it.
No problem. To be fair, I'm interested in it. I feel like I need to get to know that kind of stuff, because everyone the baseline is now a lot higher now. So I feel like everyone that's doing anything on social media needs to have those basics.
Yeah, it's good though. It is good. I'm sure you just got to get your eye in, don't you?
Yeah, it's massive. I feel like it's a big investment. How much have you spent on all like the gear you use for all this stuff?
I mean, a lot of it I had before, because I've got stuff for work, so the camera I'm using is from work, and there's a couple of things that people have supported me to get, stuff like a microphone, stuff like a video capture card, which is not cheap and stuff like that. So thankfully, there's a couple of guys out there, I think there's 5 or 6 of you now who are backing the channel, all that. So big thanks to them. A little shout out.
I was thinking about doing something similar. I've not really looked into it too much, but how did you decide you wanted to set up a Patreon group? And you had a whole idea behind it as well, isn't it? Like referring people like across from different places as well. How did you come up with that?
I don't know, it just makes sense, because I get questions from people on the daily, like patients on the daily, asking about, I've got this brown tooth, or I've got this and that, or I've got, my gums are bleeding. And be quite honest, I just can't be bothered to deal with them. Like, no, not in a bad way, but if I'm not going to see the patient, what's the point in me giving them a full OH routine, which is what I've currently been doing, like saying, get your TPs, get this, get that, get your single tufted brush and do this and do that. When there's, actual dentists out there who are probably closer geographically that they can go see and get it sorted. So that's why I shared, that endo case the other day. From one of the guys, so he's obviously got a bit of exposure, people knowing a bit more that he's doing endo, so it just makes sense that there's so many of us, and probably there's people asking everyone. You might get questions about your teeth sometimes, I would guess, from people that either or someone's found your profile. I don't know how often that happens for you, but it's quite often. For probably some people it's very often, and if they're not in the same country, then what skin off my nose is it to send them to someone who I know is, upstanding dentist?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, I guess. Yeah. Very clever to think of it.
But I mean, maybe it'll be a big thing, maybe it won't be. I don't know. But I think most of it behind is we've got like a nice little group. So there's like when people can be bothered to go on, because there's not lots of us yet. There's like 5 or 6. Then there's a bit of a chat going about certain things. So it's like it's an old school chat room. Have you heard of Discord?
Yeah, I was just about to mention Discord. Like, I was gonna say, I bet it's like Discord.
We've got a Discord server, so it's fun. It's like old school 4chan almost, isn't it?
Yeah. I never used that much, but I've heard about it, and I use Discord now. It's like Discord's just super niche. Like, you literally have like a really specific topic, and then suddenly there's like 1,000 people in here that all like relate to it or whatever. So it's super cool.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And I think the thing is, I'm actually a Patreon for someone else's channel as well, on one of the football ones. So I was just like, well, actually, how did I end up doing this? Like, how would you actually think, oh, actually, I'm paying some guy $5 a month so he can talk about football? But it's because you like the content, and if people like the content, then I was like, I might as well give them the option. Let's see what happens. So go for it, man. I mean, there's nothing to lose by trying it out.
Yeah, I think that's becoming quite big these days, about kind of like providing for free for like a long period of time, and then you genuinely gain, I'm calling customers, but people that respect you and like what you're doing and want. I think it's actually a really good thing. Like, it kind of reminds me of a bit like free samples. So if you're walking in like a shopping center or something, and you get a free sample, and then it's genuinely really good. Like, you don't feel you don't feel bad at all by going to buy it afterwards, because you actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's mutually beneficial for both people in that sense, because it's like, I would, if I had a really good product, all right, let's say it's really good advice, or if it's really good food or whatever, and I know it's good, then there's no reason why I shouldn't give away free samples. And people actually sample it, or do have a free trial or something, and then realize it is valuable, and they're willing to.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing. So I mean, how many YouTube videos have we done now? Like, I've done 6 on the Instagram tutorials, how to get bigger on Instagram. So then part of the thing is, if you want a one-on-one where we just go through everything that's right and wrong with your profile, I'll do that for them as well. And then you can just give people perks, and I think it's like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, almost, supporting each other. It's like a proper, I don't know what the word is, like, it feels more wholesome than I don't know, getting sponsored. I think that's what it is, like, because there's people ask me, oh yeah, I'll sponsor you for this and that, but then you kind of sold out, haven't you?
Yeah. It's like you're generally giving them the option, as like no. if you want, you can. That's like, I mean, you're smashing out Instagram lives in lockdown so much that you there in itself, and the time and effort that you're putting into.
I mean, I kind of my thought was like, oh, I've not actually got anything out of it.
No, I don't think that's true. Like, even if people haven't told you or whatever, people that have dropped in and listened will definitely take.
No, I know, but it's like, it's one of those where I enjoy doing it, but I can't carry on just doing this without getting something back, and I don't want to like ask for anything back. But that's the thing. So I don't really talk about the Patreon that much. So hopefully it's kind of just put a word of mouth. I think that's the best way everything goes, isn't it? You hear about something, someone says, oh yeah, this is decent, check it out. Because you don't want to be that guy that's just shoving it down people's throats all the time either.
For sure. I think, we saw like a massive spike in webinars and stuff like that as well, and like these Zoom calls. And to be fair, like, even when we talk about production quality, some of those are just so crazy as well. I think other people like Vinay do DFT ones and all that stuff, but they're actually providing like the detail, and the advice they're giving is really, really high level stuff, and it makes people obviously want to buy or get involved in any courses and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why I had quite a few of the guys who agreed to come on to the lives with me. Those guys who were running courses. I know we did a giveaway with Shiraz, which went crazy. Which by the way, don't do giveaways anymore. That's been clamped down upon. So, little top tip there.
What's happened with
so apparently they've updated the algorithm to work out if people are using engagement baits.
Oh, really? How? So it's like if you use hashtag giveaway. I've used the word giveaway.
Giveaway, yeah, contest, because it's like inflating your profile by like artificial means or something.
Yeah.
So it's not organic.
Yeah. People are gonna find a way around it. Though. You know, people are gonna find another sort of acronym or something, some sort of abbreviation. That's gonna be trending soon, I guess, until they find out about that one.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of one of the things that previously I was saying. Oh yeah, if you want to get things, you go and giveaway is a great way to do it. Blah blah blah. Team up with people and do a giveaway. I suppose you could still do it, but it's just not going to get any reach on hashtags and stuff like that. And I'm trying to avoid doing anything that's going to get you marked down on Instagram, because I need to keep up that growth. I'm aiming for like 100k by the end of next year, which is a bit mad.
Yeah, that's a lot. But how did you build up so many? Like, yeah, I want to ask you, is like when you first started the Instagram page, did you actually have an end goal in sight, or what was the plan?
Initially, it was I'm bored because I failed finals and I did them again in November, and it was fine because I only like screwed up on one part, and I kind of knew already like after I walked out that I'd screwed up. So I passed finals, and then I've got 9-10 months till FD. So I'm sat there going, I've got F all to do essentially. So I saw all these fitness shout out pages. I was like, oh, I'll do it for dentistry. And then at some point, my friend gave me a call and he was going, oh, I'm going to Sri Lanka. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll come with you. And then once I got there, because he's working in Dubai, we went back to Dubai to his ends, and I've got family there, so I went round to visit them, and I've visited family in a couple of in Kuwait as well. But by that point, I'd actually been like connected with a guy from Kuwait. Really, really cool guy, Dr. Lidawi. You should check his composite workout is amazing. He's like a cosmetic guy over there. He trained at the other Queen Mary in Belfast actually, but then I was like, oh well, now I can make connections and stuff like this, and there's other people that I'd spoke to, so I was like, all right, screw it, I've got like 7 months till FD. I'm just gonna go traveling and like meet some of these guys. So then I just carried on doing that. It was actually really slow. Like it took a few months to get the first 1,000, and then slowly it went up and up, and then went crazy in lockdown. Like I think we got what was that, 20,000 since lockdown.
What on earth? Oh, I thought you had that for like years.
No,
that is mental.
I was on 14,000 just before lockdown started. It was like steady. It was steady, but since it's just gone mental. There was a point where we were getting 1,200 a week or more, and then now it's gone back down a bit. It's down to 600 a week on average now. I need to up the quality again.
Yeah, that's an awful lot though. Like people, yeah, you must get loads of like people trying to sponsor you and stuff with that sort of reach.
You get a few. You get a few, and there's been a couple that are nice, but I tend not to do sponsors. I tend to go, look, well, again, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Can you give like discounts to the patrons? So then there's like ProDent USA, who are like a nice instrument company. They get like a good 25% off from them if anyone signed up. So I like doing it that way. So they're gonna get something out of it. I'm gonna get something out of it, and then people who are signing up get something out of it as well. So
okay, yeah,
it's a whole big back scratching circle in it.
Everyone just scratching everyone else's back.
That's how it should be, isn't it?
That's how the world works. Yeah, that's good. That is wholesome.
No one's stabbing each other in the backs, isn't
it? Yeah. Still doing dentistry at all
now? So we live with my grandma, so I didn't go back when everyone else went and saw back. So I left that job. Just because it seemed dumb, like I'm living at home, so I've not got any overheads, so I don't really need to. Again, this is like comes back to that point, doesn't it? If you can live at home, you've got more leeway in what you can do. So I'm looking for private jobs now, pretty much. So I'll probably start off a couple of 1-2 days a week when I find one that's suitable. But yeah, I want to get back into it. I'm kind of getting bored of not working, but I'll kind of hit the gym for a few more months if I need to.
Yeah, right. What about your plans for thingy? I know you were looking at endo before. Is that still on the map?
Yeah, but you know, there's no timeline on that, is there? Do it when I do
of
it.
course.
What about you? What do you? I know you've not done a lot. What do you feel like you're going to end up doing?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. There's always a bit of conflict in my head. And I think it is. It's not helped by the fact that I've not done much as well. But I used to like last year. I thought about it quite a lot, and this might be misguided or misinformed information, but I just felt like there was something off-putting to me, like the whole cosmetic dentistry side of things. I felt like it might have been because it's been a bit over glamorized in social media. That's kind of all you really see. And the people with a lot of followers tend to be the cosmetic guys instead of, I don't know, like people in the hospital and stuff like that.
Isn't that really obvious though? Do you know what I mean? Because you're not good. The average person, I know it may be different if you've got a really, really amazing personality, you know, an actual personality and stuff. But the average non-dentist isn't going to follow a general dentist.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But that was the first thing where I just kind of realized, like, not that that's a bad thing or whatever, but kind of like
it is what it is.
Don't get dragged into it, as opposed to like realize that there is another side of dentistry as well. As opposed to that, because if you say to anyone, like you say in the general public, that I'm a dentist, the first thing they'll think of is like veneers, crowns, whitening, that kind of thing. So
they cry.
I wanted to open my mind. Yeah, it's that, or I'm terrified of you, I hate you, etc., etc. I just wanted to stop and think, like, let me not rule out or forget about the other side of dentistry, which is not as popularized or whatever. And and I kind of like the hospital environment as well, which is a bit weird. Some people hate it, but for some reason, I kind of like the hospital.
I think it's different as a student. I think if you get into staff grade, it maybe becomes a bit more cliquey. I don't know if that's maybe what some people say, but I suppose if you're liking it, then you know go for it and see how you feel.
Yeah, I mean that's mainly what I was thinking last year, but then coming into this year, I was also starting to think that about the lifestyle sort of side as well, and being able to have freedom to do other stuff that I wanted to do. So she's kind of bringing me back towards obviously like general practice or private practice. So now it's a bit of a, I don't know, I'm just kind of swaying around in between those two areas. And I don't think I'll truly probably know for like at least 5 years. Because as I say, I've not done any of it. This is all just speculative, theoretical.
We like speculating. Speculating's fun. Actually knowing things is, you know, it's not always the most fun to talk about. So, you know.
Yeah. It always seems great, like when you talk about it in the future. Then I guess when you get there, things might change.
Yeah.
I guess if I had to say what dream would be, it would be to, let's say, work in private practice 1 or 2 days a week, and then I don't know, be a hospital teacher for a bit. I don't know what specialty would lend that to. Maybe I don't know, like if I was doing endo privately and then doing hospitals, do that private and hospital.
Yeah, I think you can do that with pretty much all the specialties, because if you're teaching undergrads, you don't really need to be at very high level, do you? Because you just need to be not crap.
Yeah. That's true.
Maybe good at fighting fires, because if that's probably the biggest thing, actually, isn't it? Because you probably got some snotty nosed student who comes in and is like, "Today I'm going to perforate."
But you know what? I don't know. Everyone goes through dental school, but then I feel like some people. But I don't know. I kind of want to promise myself that if I was ever to go back, that I still remember what it was like to be a student.
Yeah, I think I would be very. I think there's probably two ways you look at it, like, because there's some guys who are probably there who just aren't bothered, and I was probably somewhere on that spectrum. Like, I wasn't the most studious at uni, but I think I was pretty decent with my hands. But because I wasn't very studious until after I left, like I didn't do much reading at all until after I left and actually got interested in the nitty gritty of stuff. I was just like going through the motions. So I reckon that kind of a person would really piss you off.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I guess if you specialize, then definitely I can see, like, if you specialize and you really care about a specific discipline, you're teaching that. students just don't want to be there, then it must be tough.
Yes, I mean, I had the really good feeling for endo, like, and I was chasing endos like left, right, center. So I think they probably enjoyed teaching me endo, but then, oh, I know they didn't like. I know they didn't like me on denture clinics. I know it.
Well, why do you think that? Why do you think you were like that in uni? Did you feel like you didn't really, or you just wanted to do the practical part of it, or like you weren't sure if you liked dentistry as much?
A bit of everything, like, because you're living away, and it's just like, oh, I'm free. I'm gonna go do this now. I'm gonna do that now. Like, and you get really into, like, I don't know, other things in your life that you've not been able to do before. Because I think I overdid it in school. That's probably what's set you down a path.
Oh,
if you're overly studious in school, like maybe didn't live a little, and I was probably work hard, play not very hard at that point, so it probably went the other way around a bit.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think that's actually a really, really big factor, because I've seen that at uni now. Like, there's people that you look at and you're thinking, how did you get through A levels? You just don't care. And then you talk to them, and they're like,
oh, did we just lose it? Yeah. What happened there?
I don't know, something. Anyway, we're back. Yeah, there's some people that how do they get the A grades at A level? Like, they seem like they don't care. They'd be like, no, like in A levels, I was grafted.
I looked at a book then,
and yeah. To me, it's opposite. Like, I definitely work hard in dental school, and I care. Yeah, I really didn't care. A level, obviously, I had to try to step it up. Kind of like it was a struggle.
Yeah, I think I was really in my element at school, because I think my school was really good, thankfully. So they had a lot of support, and the teachers were really good. Apart from probably biology, I remember having a heated argument with a biology teacher because I thought she wasn't very good, and I may have told her that.
May.
I think.
Did you go to a grammar school?
Yeah, it was Bradford Grammar. I think, quote unquote, stop wasting my time. That's what I told her.
Oh, let them know.
What was happened? I remember. Oh, you know what it was? We used to have an hour and a half double lessons. It was like 45-minute periods, and we used to have doubles. And we spent a whole double doing one topic the week before, and half the class hadn't got it. And she went over it again, the same lesson twice. And I was like, stop wasting my time. If they haven't got it by now, they're not gonna.
Oh.
I was a little shit, I think. I think that's the word.
Yeah. I went to. Have you heard of Greenhead?
Yeah, my brother went there. Yeah, he did.
Oh, did he? Oh. And so it's a bit weird to most people on my course either went to boys' schools or grammar schools, but Greenhead College, to be honest, for me, because I was obviously in Huddersfield and I'm from Wakefield, so I had to get a train, it probably took me, what time did I used to go? I used to wake up at like 7, maybe. It was pretty early, and I used to get back pretty late as well. But to me, honestly, that was almost very close to uni, because we could go off campus. We didn't have uniform, we wore our own clothes. It was like 2K students.
Oh wow, that must have been fun.
Yeah, like there's 1,000 students in each year. Like, even like for biology, I don't know how big your college was, but biology, I think there's 16 classes in AS anyway. There's 16 classes, and they were all mixed. There was no like sets or whatever. So the teacher really wasn't really focusing on top students. She was just trying to get people to pass. The top students were really good in Greenhead. It was still very good, but it was still a public school at the end of the day.
No, I think Yorkshire's really good for that. There's a lot of really good kind of public schools. Obviously, you have to pass like an exam to get in, didn't you? Or like you had to have certain grades to get in.
Yeah, so it depends. If you're in the catchment area of the college, then you just have to get 5 C's at GCSE. But for me, because I came from Wakefield, you have to apply as from an outside view, and then you have to do an interview. There's no exam to get in, but it's just it's quite competitive. Like, you have to have like A's and B's pretty much to get in.
No, I mean, it makes sense, and I think that's something that I definitely noticed. I know we're going back a long, long time now, but in GCSE, I remember that anything that was setted in, I did really, really well because I was generally, because I was quite hardworking and intelligent, although quite lazy. Anything I was setted in, the class was pushed harder. Anything that we were in a general class with the rest of, people who maybe weren't up to the same level or just weren't bothered at all or disruptive, I got a lower grade in that. So everything that I was setting, I got an A star. Anything that I wasn't setting in, I got an A or I was struggling.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely makes a big difference. I mean, in Greenhead, because there was still, so I think they don't normally get like 30, 40 people going to Oxbridge. If it was a normal school, but obviously there's 2 in the year. But so there's still a group of really smart people, and I guess outside of lessons, you still be around these certain people that have really high aspirations in life, and that was really good to push you. But then in the class, it wasn't a fact of not wanting to have high aspirations or whatever, but the teacher was obviously not focusing. He just wasn't focusing on that, and you find yourself going over basics nearly every week.
God, I would
be going over that. Yeah. So literally, like, we couldn't have done much. Like, it was just how it was.
Yeah,
but
that didn't carry on into uni for me. I think the first exam we had something called November EMI, where it was like really, really early on. I think 8 weeks in, and you had a big EMI test, which is on the PC, with all the multiple choice. I did really, really well in that. Like, I think I was top one of the percentiles or something. And then I was like, this uni shit is quite easy. and then what happened? Me and my friend, we bought Skyrim. Oh, and then Football Manager, and boom, we're done.
That's a death sentence right there. You didn't want to pass. When you bought that, you said to yourself, "Yeah, I don't want to pass."
We were done. So that didn't carry on. It was interesting you talk about, like how people with high aspirations and like being around them, because I think it's really important to have them guys in your life and cut out the ones with low aspirations. Almost, it's pretty deep to do that, but I think it pushes you further.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as for my applying to Greenhead was pretty unorthodox from people from my school. I think maybe like 20, 30 of us went to Greenhead, but my high school was massive as well. So most people went to the local school there. But I think that's probably one of the best things I did was going to Greenhead, because there was, even though I had to travel and getting home at 6 p.m. And then trying to go to gym after that, and then it's bedtime. That was tough, but it definitely pushed me more.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's probably the benefits, and I was lucky that I was able to go to a private school where a lot of the stuff that was, the facilities like gym were there. So I would go in the morning. I think I would drive in at about 6 a.m.
Okay.
I would I would swim first, have a breakfast while I'm doing my homework or whatever studying I needed to do. By 9, I'd done an hour swimming, 2 hours work and food, and then it was lessons and stuff, and we had 3 periods in between. So I would just I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because you could just chill around, because I'd done a lot of the work already, so I was just casually working through it the rest of the day. And then me and my friend who actually went to Barts for dentistry, we would stay till 8 p.m, like working, testing each other, all that sort of stuff, getting takeaways in, because we're in Bradford, so there's takeaways around in there.
Every corner.
So yeah, that works really well. And then obviously things change when in uni, because you different people around. Me and my cousin were in the same year at uni as well, both doing dentistry, so we probably didn't help each other out working very hard. It was a bad idea.
I guess a benefit I did have though is because based on my work that hard, I still did well enough, but compared to other people around me, just people in my friendship group and around me, they did like amazing, and it wasn't that I thought I was better than them or whatever, but I knew that I could at least have done the same or whatever. And I remember, like, I'll never forget looking at my GCSE results paper sheet and just thinking, I was overconfident. Like I thought I smashed every exam. I can't lie. I was pretty overconfident, and then that translated onto A levels. Because when I first applied dentistry, I didn't get any offers until I was on the waiting list for Barts, and then I got let in on results day.
Sick.
But like during the year, I didn't have any offers, and then I don't know that feeling like of walking home. I remember because I used to walk from the train station to home, see that UCAS status update, click on it. Every time you see it, your heart just sinks. Every time you get your heart, you get your hopes up again, thinking, okay, this is the last one. Like, let's see, and then your heart sinks again. And I think that feeling, it was a little bit in GCSE, a lot bigger in not getting dentistry offers. That flipped it for me into dental school. Like I'm so scared of failing. I hate that feeling that I really don't want to. So I think I work a lot harder now. Than I ever would have before. So I've experienced it's not nice. It's not nice getting those rejections.
No, I think that probably helps you out, and I maybe could have done with a couple before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were needed. If I was as cocky as I was in GCSE and I did smash it, that'd have been dangerous. That'd have been dangerous. Then I'd have thought like I was the man. I thought I was the man by then. But.
Yeah, I think it's funny how things come full circle almost, because you know if I'm there riding high in A level, GCSE I was a bit 50-50. A level I was working really hard. Started off okay, and then ups and downs in uni, how much I'm actually working. It's literally whenever I actually worked for an exam, I did okay. And there was an exam I walked in not having read at least half of the material. So I mean, what do you expect? And I think that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I've had quite a lot of these, like quite a lot of my podcasts as well. But I've had quite a lot of these times where I've just I've been taught a lesson which I just can't forget, and it's one similar with the gym. I think I first stepped in the gym in year 11, but it's a bit of a weird one because no one really knew what they were doing. I think it was the summer after year 11, and people were already going to the gym in my high school. It was already a thing, but one of my friends was like, "I'll come with us." And I was like, "Okay." We used to go literally once a week on the weekend. We used to go once a week.
Once a week? What are you going to do? What kind of games are you getting once a week, man?
Listen, we didn't know what was happening there. We just thought, oh no, it's because, I didn't have a job at this point. I couldn't afford a membership. But the thing was, I think we'll pay.
Right.
We'll pay for day passes. So doing these day passes. But in the gym, we weren't even doing anything either. It was like a group of 6 of us. We were just there to mess up pretty much. But went to A level, and so summer would come again. It's always summer. You're like, you know what? I want to come back and be head. It goes about. Yeah, I remember gassing it. I'm saying to him, when I come back, you're not going to recognize me. Like I'm going to be a different person. And then summer would happen. I wouldn't go, and then I come back, and it's the same. And then for like on there, and I think it hit home one time when I looked at the thing and I realized, I think was it uni, maybe. So in 4th year now, maybe around 2nd year, I looked at my fitness pal. I'm thinking, okay, I'm in 2nd year now. I'm gonna count the years. So 2nd year, 1st year, A level, AS, year 11. Shit, it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years, and let's be honest, my body's not changed at all because I've been on and off and not taking it seriously. And it's kind of thinking that what if, like, imagine if I actually did take it seriously, like, what I'd be looking like now. And that it really hurt me. I can't lie, like it really hurt me. Because I see other people's massive and all this stuff, and I were lifting loads, and I was thinking, what if? So that's what changed into now, where I take the gym quite seriously and my diet quite seriously, because I don't want to be what if it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with everything, isn't it? I've been on and off with the gym since uni ended. Probably, I think I was doing really, really well for about 3 years in uni, and then it came up to end of 4th year, and I was like, oh, you know what? I need to pass finals. So I kind of stopped, and we had a couple of weights in the house that I was living in. So I'd do like shoulder press, and that was about shoulders and arms, and that was about it. But it was the worst thing that I could ever done, because fitness wise, I'm then sitting in the library all the time, or I'm sitting in a dental chair all the time, and then transverse abdominis got really, really weak. So it looks like I've got a belly now, but it's just a weakness in that frontal muscle wall. which I'd never had before. So I'm fighting against that now. I'm doing like vacuums daily for the last 3 days since I've like really trying to get into it.
I've got something similar. I've got really like quite bad anterior pelvic tilt.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
So like my bum sticks out loads and my belly sticks, but my posture is bad. Like if I'm standing over too long, I just feel pain in my lower back, and I'm thinking I'm 21. This isn't good. And I kind of tracked it back to a few things. Like I never used to. I was one of those guys that skipped leg day when I was going in year 11 AS A level. But now I pretty much do everything. I won't skip abs. I won't skip cars. I won't skip anything because I know like it's going to take a while. But just to build out like base strength that I've missed out for the last 4 years, it's going to be worth it.
What's your program like? Are you doing lots of compound lifts, or are you doing like more of a bro split where you're doing more isolation work?
Yeah, a lot of compounds. I do push pull.
Okay, nice.
Leg a minute. And I was very hardcore summer. I was getting like 6 days a week. I was doing push pull legs rest. So it works out like 5-6 days a week. Then I started to get a bit tired, a bit burnout. So I've reduced it now, an extra rest day. But yeah, I'm just trying to. Well, one thing, in fact, though, because that's something I did last year. I got a bit chubby, so we're gonna try to focus on the diet a little bit more this year, and not just KFC burgers and milkshakes and stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing like I'm trying to go to bed heavier every day.
Do you know what? I wish I had that task. That's pretty easy.
But it's hard to do when I'm not having rubbish. So I'm trying not to have. I mean,
yeah,
I have a takeaway maybe once a week. That's generally where it lands. But other than that, I'm trying to cut out, refined carbs. Trying to stick with, basmati rice, which is pretty good on your GI index. What else am I trying to do? Trying to have more veg, which I'm, not doing amazingly well at. But the only thing I'm really counting is my protein. So I'm trying to get 210 grams a day and then just fill up the rest with whatever. Like, it doesn't really matter what else. And then once I get close to my goal weight, I'll do like a reverse cut.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but that's what I'm trying.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you see my cut I did over lockdown?
Let me check it out.
I don't even know if I left it on there, actually. I definitely storied it. I don't know if I highlighted it or not. But I started in April all the way to July. It was pretty intense. First time cutting was not fun, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I've never done a cut, really. Not properly.
Yeah, I gain fat quite easily, to be honest. Like the love handles, belly, face, like they're just fat always. But it's pretty hard for me to get rid of.
Have you tried anything like keto or like a carnivore diet just to like get it kick-started for a month or two?
So when I did this cut, it went quite well. I went pretty low on calories, to be honest. I was having 6K for the first half of it. I was having the calories for the whole thing, but then the second half of it, I started doing cardio as well. Yeah. So I was in pretty intense deficit, and it went quite well, to be fair. And it was something for me. I find it quite easy to get used to a diet if I start doing it for a while. Because for one, I'm not really a breakfast person anyway. So it wasn't uncommon for me to not eat until like 2 p.m. on a day. That's just how I used to be. And then the only challenge was at night, really, like going to bed when I'm a little bit hungry. And so I got over that. I started, I don't know, like drinking lots of water, having low calorie foods, like
celery sticks.
It was fine. Yeah, pretty much just eating water. And yeah, you know what? You get used to it. Your body gets used to it quite quickly.
Yeah, I think what's amazing is if like we do fasting, so you realize throughout the rest of the year how little you actually need. Like, oh wow, I don't need all this food that we normally just smash in just because we're bored. And that's what that's kind of usually what I take away from the fasting part of it. Obviously, there's a spiritual side as well, but that's like, yeah, actually, I don't need 5 meals a day, and or whatever.
Isn't it 30 days?
Yeah,
isn't it 30 days human can survive.
Yeah,
that's crazy to me. Do you know who Jocko Willink?
I've heard the name, but I can't picture him in my head.
Navy SEAL. I just finished reading his book literally last night called "Discipline Equals Freedom." And that art is so good. He talks about first half is quite the chapter's called Thoughts. He's just talking about a lot of thoughts about his whole life, and then the second half he talks about actions. He talks about his workouts he did as Navy SEAL. He talks about self-defense, which martial arts you should learn. He talks about fasting in there as well. And I think for people that are like, I don't know what the word is, but like, yeah, he was talking about how important it is to like fast every now and again, and he does it quite regularly. And I think you find a lot of people like military, I don't know, that type of person tends to do these type of things like fasting.
I know Rogan. Does he do intermittent fasting? And David Goggins does it, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, Tim Ferriss. He's a big one on fasting as
well. So I reckon it works.
David Goggins a beast.
Yeah, I think it definitely works. That might be something to try out. I'm not sure I will do it because my idea is I've got a goal weight in mind and goal physique in mind, but it's certain, maybe it's 15 pounds heavier than I am now of muscle. So my thought is, okay, I'm going to eat as though I was maintaining that weight now. So there might be a really fast up spike and then like a recomp towards the end.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's completely insane, but like you say, is it better to get used to eating a certain level and just maintaining that level of eating?
Yeah, for me, I'm just trying to, because I got a bit fat last year. I'm trying to just make sure I don't gain any fat at all. So I'm only aiming for like a 300 calorie surplus right now, and hopefully like I don't know what my goal. I guess my goal would be like to be like 90 kg shredded, but I don't know how long that would take.
How tall are you?
I'm like 5'11".
Okay, you're a little bit taller than me, like a couple of inches taller than me. Yeah, we've got a similar goal then. I think I'm thinking 90 as well.
Yeah, it's heavy.
It's heavy. 200 pounds is like, I think 190 is probably about where I was thinking. And what am I now? Let me check my thing. Renfos. Let's have a look. 170.6, but I've got 15 odd body fat at the moment. 15%.
Yeah,
something like that. 15 and a half.
To say.
Yeah.
But recently I've started playing a bit of basketball as well.
Have you?
Like quite religiously, to be honest. Were not thanking me last week. I played like 4 or 5 times in the week, and I don't even have basketball shoes. My shins were hurting, my ankles were hurting, and now it's raining, so I've taken a couple of days off anyway. But like the calories to that is mental. I use a Fitbit.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I found it to be quite reliable, to be fair. And on the days I was playing basketball, it could reach that my maintenance was like 3.7k calories, which obviously means I have to eat 4,000 to hit the surplus I wanted to, which is pretty tough.
Well, yeah, that's pretty mental, because I think, yeah, you could actually really lose a lot of fat if you were doing that and just didn't bother to up your calories, and just like up the protein on that day, see what happens. Just like, I don't know, have 220, 240 grams of protein, don't up your carbs and your fats or whatever, and just like let it ride.
Yeah, the plan was before I was gonna hit 3.1 calories every day. Okay, but then now because it's a really big difference on the day I play basketball and I don't. I think a couple of days ago I didn't leave the house. I did nothing, and I checked my Fitbit and I think it was like 2.34, and compare that to 3.7. Like, you can't really have the same amount of calories every day when one day is 1.3k calories more. So now what I'm doing is checking my Fitbit every day and then trying to just 300 plus whatever that is.
Do you think it's accurate, the Fitbit, when it comes to?
Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate.
Okay, yeah. I might have to have a look at that then.
Like I use them. Well, most people use the calculators, like the TDE calculators, and most of those churn out 2.3, 2.4k for height and weight and stuff. And on my Fitbit, it's it normally as well.
Right.
On the days I do nothing, but then I play basketball, it goes up a lot.
Let's have a look at Fitbits then. A bit of market research.
The best thing about the Fitbit is the sleep for me. The sleep stats.
Can you sleep with things on? Because like I don't even like wearing a watch full stop. Like, I wear it on like a grad ball and stuff like that, but the rest of the time it's just sat in the cupboard. Do you get used to it?
Yeah.
Are they comfortable?
Yeah, I don't take it off.
Right.
Oh, it's upside down right now, but
yeah,
it's quite. And I keep it on all the time. The crazy thing, like accurate or not, but the time I realized it was accurate was when I think I was doing some work. I think it must have been exam season. I noticed myself nodding off, and then before I know it, I'm asleep and I'm napping, and I wake up and I'm like, oh f, like I've fallen asleep. And then I go, let me check the Fitbit, and then on the Fitbit it'll say like 7 minutes, and you literally, I'm like, that's literally accurate. I've literally fell asleep in 7 minutes.
That's not bad.
Just then, and it's in the middle of the day, so like, yeah, I don't know what it uses. It must be heart rate, activity level, something else. I think it's mainly the heart rate. I think your heart rate drops quite a lot. But yeah, it's good. For me, it's been really accurate. Anytime I have a nap, anytime I sleep, it's right on the ball.
All right, I might have to have a look at that, because that would be really. But I mean, the thing is, I'm not really counting my calories. I'm just counting my protein, so I don't know if it'd be much use for me or not. But I suppose it'd be good to have a bit more accurate information. I do like my stats.
Yeah, it's just good to see. Yeah, yeah, stats are good. Yeah.
If you've got the same issue as me,
Really
you should try out the vacuum exercises. You know, on an empty stomach and sucking in, or, you know, breathing right out. And then sucking up and in,
Okay.
bringing your belly button towards your spine and upwards and inwards. Supposedly you can lose a couple of inches within, you know, weeks of
really?
Just from distension, because it's a weak.
Okay.
If you've got that and you've not actually got rolls and rolls of fat, which I've got a little bit, but it's not like, you know, massive, then it's because of a weakness in deep muscles. So
yeah,
once you start tightening them up, it'll bring everything back in line, and it's not easy to train that particular muscle set anyway.
I've got really bad hip mobility as well. There's a YouTube video which is I can't remember. If you need, I'll send it. But it gets it through. Takes you through like 4 exercises, and basically, if you can do them, you're fine. If you can't do them, then you probably have tight hip flexors or not very good hip mobility. And I think there was 4 of them. I couldn't do 3 of them. Like I was looking at the video, like I don't know how you're getting into that position. Simply, I just don't know how. So that's what I'm trying to work on that as well. Trying to stretch.
Yeah, I know I've got an exaggerated lumbar lordosis, so I've probably got I'm somewhere on the spectrum there, I would reckon. Probably, unfortunately, a little bit more susceptible to lower back strains and stuff, but maybe it's because I'm weaker in the front as well, because obviously if you sat down, then your stomach is relaxed, whereas your back's stretched, and if you do that for a long time, then are you causing, you know, long-term stress on that lower back, and then when you stand up and start doing stuff, you've got a tight lower back because it's been pulled too much. And then again, your stomach is now loose because you've been sat down and it's been laxed too much. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah. You know, it's really good that like we notice this stuff early on, because we've got a lot of time to fix.
Yeah, you just got to be.
But I can imagine
that.
Yeah, it's like you don't see the immediate reward. There's no instant gratification of doing this. Yeah, I'll start that soon. Then before you know, it's been another year, and then you
I think it's definitely needed. You need to keep on top of yourself, don't you? Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble later on down the line, especially as dentists. So I think that's important. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully I won't have to quit because of my back. that's the worry, isn't it?
You know what? Did dentists do they get like back insurance and stuff? Is that
I don't know, but if you look at older dentists, I'm going to turn sideways now. Am I still in screen? They get this thing where you should be about up here, you know, golden thread theory, whereas they start coming here. Yeah. Have a look next time you're in clinic and see if you can see that. Whether the older guys, they've kind of got this weird stoop, and that's something that I just don't want. I definitely don't want. So you've got to be really, really careful about your posture. Get your loops in and all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
so I was going to say, like, there's someone in the year above that broke their wrist doing jiu-jitsu, and I was just thinking.
So we lost you for a second there.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, you're back fine though. You're all good. Yeah.
And he obviously couldn't go to clinic or do anything, and it scared me a little bit, because I'm thinking, like, what happens when you're a dentist? Like, is there any other?
I think you can. I haven't got it, but I think you can. But
what would you actually do?
It's a sick holiday, that is.
Sick holiday with no pay. I don't know, man.
I think this is the thing. Like, I'm hopefully going to talk to Zane. Do you know Zane, Rusi?
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, I'm going to speak to him soon because he's quite into his investing, and I think that's going to be the key for young dentists because, unfortunately, dentistry pay is going down on the whole. So you're going to have to be super, super clever about what you're doing with your money, how to manage it, making it go and work for you.
Yeah, for sure. I swear you were into in lockdown.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Don't do it, guys. 90% of you are going to lose. Because sometimes you can do your reading on a certain company, and then some good news comes out, and you go, "Oh, sick," and it tanks, and you're just like, "Come on, that makes no sense." But it's because people have known coming up that there's going to be good news, and on the day it just goes up a little bit, and they all cut, and it just drops.
But by the time you find out, everyone else.
I don't know. I think there's guys out there who have got some form of inside information, which is obviously illegal. But who's trusting bankers though, innit? Don't trust them as far as you can throw them.
I've gone quite into trading now. I started it like a year ago, something like that. And definitely most people will lose. It's very difficult, but I'm enjoying it. It's quite good.
Are you on a dummy account or are you on a live account?
I started a few months ago. But I was on a dummy account for a while, and you definitely have to know what you're doing, like in and out. There's a few guys that I followed and watched religiously. And I think the most important thing probably is the fact that you can back test.
Right.
So you can access historical data. What would have happened if you placed a certain trade or whatever. So you can find your strategy or whatever, and then you can test it. And then I've got massive spreadsheets everywhere where you can type in your entry, exit, all these. You can find out what your rate of return would have been over like 5 years. How many trades would it have given you? All this stuff. Then obviously that's just half the battle. As you said, there's stuff like news events. So the way I trade is like completely avoiding news because you can't predict it. So anything. So if I'm trading a certain currency,
you're doing currency pairs. Okay, that's different.
I'm doing currency pairs and a bit of commodities like gold, silver, oil, that kind of thing. With them, if there's some announcement soon about something or interest rates going to change, anything like that, like completely stay out of the way. Like you cannot predict that at all. But general trends, you can pick up. But
I think if you swing, you're pretty safe. Like if not day trading, if you just go like on a couple of week, all right, this is looking like your RSI is certain or whatever, and your stochastics or whatever is saying something else, and you see, all right, it looks undersold or overbought or whatever, you can go, okay, I'm going to go long or short on it. I think that makes sense. When you try to do it intraday, mad. Oh
yeah, no, I'm using the daily, so it only takes like 10 minutes a day to check my charts, like at the end of the day, and that's it. And I don't try find tops or bottoms. Like from what I've read, that you can't really predict when it's like the term overbought doesn't really mean much because it can be overbought even more or whatever. And if you're trading with leverage, if it's really minus, then you have to close your position because you can't risk to lose anymore. No. That's why it's quite different to invest in, as like you don't really lose till you sell it. So something can go down in investing, that doesn't matter because
you still hold the fine. Stock, unless it gets delisted, in which case you're screwed.
Yeah. If they go bust, then that's peak. But in trading, because you might be trading with leverage, if it starts to go down, the correct risk management to do it is to close it. You can't risk it and say, it might go back up after. Like you just exit it. So you need to have like really specific, like tight stop losses. The way I trade is I'm basically like a trend trader. So I'm trying to catch if there's any big trends. So let's say the price is going like quite a fairly side-to-side price. As soon as it starts to move
beyond the range, okay, so you would like breakouts.
Yeah. So I might be looking at like, let's say like a volume indicator which says how many trades in the last 24 hours. I might use I don't know, like a combination of them. I've got like 3 or 4, and they'll have to agree for the trade for me to enter the trade. So then I'd enter it, and then hopefully I'm hoping based on these indications that the trend's going. If it doesn't happen, I've got a tight stop loss. So if the price starts going against me, I'll close out straight away. So it's like tight. But if it does go, obviously, if you get it, it's quite a big trend. So
do you use a trailing stop when you're in the profits as well?
Yeah. So I have on my first take profit is when I take off half my trade. So that's already in the bank. So then basically I can't lose. And then based off the rest, I just keep that going. And then either I exit based on something or I have a trailing stop.
Yeah, because sometimes if you get to that point where you're in the profit in a decent amount, what you could have done is, instead of like taking off half, you just put the trailing stop, in, I don't know, 5 or 10% profit, and just let it ride. And the stop, every time it moves up, is gonna come up with you. See, sometimes you can just let it ride. I don't know. It depends. Everyone's got their own way of doing it. You've definitely got to be really aggressive cutting your losses, because if you've got 100%, so I think this is what people get wrong, and I've maybe done wrong previously, where if you've got 100k, for example, just because it's an easy, nice, easy round number, you shouldn't be trading more than 2 or 3% on a certain trade, or you shouldn't be willing to. 2%. You shouldn't be willing to lose more than what. What's your number? Do you reckon? Half.
So yes, I have 2%. So the stop loss is pretty much a worst case scenario. Like hopefully my indicators will tell me to exit before that, but the stop loss will always be that the amount I lose from the stop loss will always be no more than 2% of my account. So worst case scenario, you'll never ever lose 2%.
Yeah, and people are losing 10, 15, 20. Ooh,
it's reckless.
Oh my god.
It's reckless.
Yeah. So that I think that's where you just got to be calm and like unemotional about it. I think that's what people really struggle with. So
yeah, definitely. It's because it's like the whole thing. Have you heard of trading in the zone?
The book. I've heard of it. I've not read it. I didn't really get that much into it. I'm more on the stock side, to be honest, because I just go with tech stocks. Honestly, you almost can't go wrong at this point in time, because Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, other things like that, Tesla, whatever. They're pretty strong positions, and they're all in like decent growth. And Apple gives you 0.8% return, as well as 30% year on year on average. So I'm just like, okay, well, that seems pretty safe to me. I don't think they're going to drop to 10%, 20% anytime soon, unless Trump does something mad. Hopefully not. But
there's a really, really good article I read back in February, and it was when coronavirus was just starting, and it was, I think it's called something like preparing for a crash or something like that. And this article is amazing. All the different levels of people's financial aptitude. So obviously at the top, you talk about level 0, I think he called it, is people that just have the money sitting in a bank account, which obviously is at risk of inflation every year, and the money's getting less. Then you go to people that like let other people trade for them, so they just give the money to some sort of index funds manager, and they do that. The problem there is that they charge fees, and most of the time they underperform index funds like S&P 500 and Nasdaq and stuff like that. So it's not really too smart to do that, because you're probably going to get more with just sticking it in an index fund. So the next level above that is doing it yourself, sticking in an index fund, which is good. And then as it keeps going down these ranks and levels,
it gets riskier, but the reward is higher as well.
But, and also because with index funds, the problem is you only really ever going long. You're only really buying it. So like the end level for him was like, the best thing you can possibly do is be willing to win. You're put yourself in a position to win even when the markets are going down, and that's like forex and gold can go short as well. Obviously, it's more difficult to do it as you go up this rank. Obviously, learning about index funds is more difficult. Learning about as you go along is more difficult. But the apex where you can win whether the market's going up or down, and that was really inspiring.
I think it's interesting, because obviously you're looking for one currency to become stronger against another, so that's pretty
always gonna happen.
There's always, it's not going to have the same effects like as on a stock, because you probably, if like something goes down in America, for example, election time, there's always some sort of weird bounce both ways. So there's probably going to be people making a lot of money off the election, going short and then going long again after. But
I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't go near the election, because, as I said, you can't predict it. But the thing, like for me, still advising anyone, which I'm not. Like I'm not a financial advisor, obviously, but if I was advising people, I'd still say do the index ones, because if you're really in it for the long game. Yeah, if you're doing it in the long game, like even let's say it might be in recession for 3 years, but eventually it will catch up. Like you'll get what it's worth eventually. I still recommend that. That's
and drip feeding into it as well, dumping everything in. You just put a little bit. So overall, you're getting a bit of the good times, and then your dollar cost averaging. When you know, if it drops, then you bring your overall cost of everything down.
Yeah, but if you have more time, then I'd say it's worth learning how to just, you want to like if you got index funds, keep them in the background, still doing it. But then if you're going to short stuff at the same time when it's right to do so, you can. But it takes a lot of work. Like you can't do it in a year or 2 years. It'll take ages. That's why I've started now with live money, even though I don't have a lot in there at all. I'm not balling, that's all. But I want to learn how to do it so that when I'm in a position when I do have more money, I can actually make something serious. I'll know what I'm doing, and I have like 4 or 5 years experience. So that's why I put myself in there.
Yeah, I'm kind of just going, you know, I'm just sticking on some standard stocks and then hope, you know, like doing like from my income, just drip feed a little bit in over time, and then hopefully it'll go well. You know, you never know, but we'll see. It's like
it's very smart.
Like you say, it takes years and years to master, and I'm not all that on that side of things. So I'm quite impulsive. So that's probably best for me.
Maybe stay away from
trading. It's probably best for me to go with growth stuff and then just let it ride.
Yeah, I last year, this time last year, money to invest yet, but I had a few. To be fair, it wasn't very well researched. If I'm honest, I just had a few like opinions of what I thought was going to go up. So I opened a practice account like with fake money, and I just stuck it on a few different things. Like I think it's a 50k practice account or something like that.
You're all different, aren't they?
Yeah. It's looking healthy right now, that practice account. So then a couple of months ago, I started investing in a few stocks as well. Obviously not with a lot of money again, but mainly index funds. Like I think I'm quite heavy in the Nasdaq, but then a few individual stocks as well. And it'd be interesting. It'd be Beyond Meat's doing well for me right now. I invested in Beyond Meat a while.
Yeah,
they're doing on my practice account. They've gone on 50% from when I bought them. So that is.
I don't like to look at my watch list because I just get sad.
That's why I did the practice account. It makes me feel slightly better because I can still see the green numbers.
No, I can see the number because when on my thing, when you add something in, it gives you if you'd bought one share, what percentage it would be.
Oh, does it? Oh no, that's not good.
Hargreaves Lansdown. It's just stocks and shares. You know, it's the self-select ISA. So, but on that watch account, I didn't do any of them, and there's things which are in the 400%, and there's one at 1200.
Things like Zoom, like it just hurts because pretty much but yeah.
Anyway.
So do you mean
yeah. If you're watching, hit the like button if you're happy that I haven't made any money.
Don't worry, the next one.
But yeah, it's going to be important for you. This is the point we're making. It's going to be important for young dentists to be savvy about what they're doing, and it's interesting because there was some graph or study that I read not so long ago where they were talking about household savings, and it's skyrocketed this year, and it shows you actually everyone can make some savings, and it's usually just frivolous spending, you know, and we're all guilty of it, you know, going out for meals and restaurants and stuff like that, and it doesn't really impact your life hugely, I don't think, to stop maybe doing some of that stuff, or maybe do things in a less expensive way, and then
it's all I think like when you I'm really guilty for this as well. When your income expands, like you're trying to make your lifestyle expand to match it, and it's a bad idea. I still do it to an extent, but it's, like for example, especially in first year and like second year when I first had my student loan, when I saw that money, my thinking wasn't like, I can save this, whatever. My first thing was like, I've got all this money to spend. Like, this is spending money. Yeah. I've got all this money. It's like, how much have I got left to spend? Type of thing. Yeah, let me go buy some clothes. Let me buy this, that. It's not. But kind of learning the lesson now because obviously I'm not getting my student loan now. When I graduate, hopefully I'll get a decent salary. easy to be like, okay, now I've got all this to spend. Like, this is my new budget.
Yeah.
And go out and like say, let's say this car, I can just about afford it on financing, so let's just do it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. If you live at home, then you've got more leeway to do both. I think that's what's been nice for me. I mean, last year I didn't because I was living out, but this year you can maybe have one little happy thing, and then save the rest or invest in your career with the rest or whatever it might be. So be clever, guys. Don't be dumb.
Yeah, I remember seeing a cartoon a while back, which was it's like some sort of sketch where it shows like a guy walking, and then he's looking at the guy on the bike saying, "Oh, I wish I had a bike. Life would be so much better." The guy on the bike's looking at a guy in the car, and the guy in the car's looking at someone else. It's pretty dangerous thinking, and I think it's a trap we all fall into to some extent. But I mean, noticing it can be quite helpful. I'm very scared of that, like especially when everyone. I wonder what it's like for you when everyone starts graduating and people start being in private practice. And I'm seeing other people in like nice cars and stuff. Did you not get the fact like you feel like, oh, I could have that? Or
you got to do your own thing, don't you? You look, everyone's got their own situation, and I think the best thing you can do is like look at yourself and just ignore what other people are doing. If you can afford it and you know what you're doing, then great. And if you know where your incomes are and your finances are right, then you know that's for you to make that decision, because like it's your life at the end of the day. I'm not someone that likes to like keep up with the Joneses. I don't really talk about finances and actual what I'm spending, this and that, that much. So I think if I'm in a different situation to you, then we should both live it within what we can actually do and not try and keep up with the other person or whatever it might be. Obviously, I don't know. Maybe people get jealous with certain things, and maybe that's what causes it. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I say I definitely had it in like high school and stuff where more a new pair of trainers came out and people would get them. I'd be there trying to scrape together pocket money I can't afford these, but I'd still like trying to scrape together to get it just so I can have it, and so I guess sort of fit in a sense.
I mean, I think once you're adults, that doesn't really become a thing, does it? Unless you're in some really really weird friendship group, which
I think they probably still exist, to be honest.
I feel like we're back on bankers there, aren't you? Let's hope there's no bankers watching, eh?
Yeah, you might get a few complaints.
I don't care. But yeah, I think that's the thing, like, I mean, there'll be guys out there who just invest heavily in their career. There'll be guys in there who, I don't know, go into other things. Maybe they like write a book, or they go into teaching, or, there's so many different ways you could take it. Then you just got to do your own thing, don't you?
Yeah, but it's sounding expensive to invest in your career as well. I've heard a lot of figures such a.
Yeah, especially that endo degree, which is pretty scary numbers, I think.
That is, yeah. Even small, I'm gonna be thinking like, yeah, all this extra money that I'm gonna be getting. Oh no, how long that's gonna stay?
Yeah, I mean the cameras are worth it. The cameras are definitely worth it. That's the first thing that I got, and I don't regret that at all. I'm just gonna take this off. You can see through because my hair's still wet. I have to put my hair oils and stuff later. Anyway, yeah. Oh, what time are we at? 3 o'clock. Okay. Well, yeah. I think that's it though. If you're gonna do endo or you're gonna do oral surgery, then plan for that. And if you've got a different goal to me, then you'll know where your finances need to be. And I think that's where people get like all mixed up. Like I might not be looking to buy a house because I'm living at home for a bit longer. Someone else might be needing to do that, so they're not going on a holiday that I might go on. But then that money that I'm saving from living at home, maybe that's why I'm going on holidays. You don't need to look at someone and be like, oh, I wish this and that, because it's all different, isn't it?
Yeah. It's typical rat race.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. Personally, I feel like it's always going to be there. You just have to keep reminding yourself. But
I'm very trigger happy on the block button. So that keeps my life nice and peaceful. So yeah, there's that's the way to go, I think. Like,
Yeah.
so that top tip there: block everything that's negative. Yeah, well, that's just it, isn't it? Because if there's someone being a bit of a whatever, you don't need to see that. You don't need to read that.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen often.
That's
Most
good,
people are alright, aren't
then. Just about.
Yeah, what was I going to ask you?
Tell me.
Podcast. How that start? Get right into that. It's probably our last topic because I've got the game in about 40 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So the podcast. Yeah. When did it start? So it started December 2019. Yeah. So it's not even been a year yet. It's quite interesting now because podcasts are kind of blowing up right now. The whole market is expanding. And I posted about it recently, like Kevin Durant, NBA player, started his own podcast. You've got everyone's just basically bitten back on this trend. The reason I started mine, I think, is because I started liking podcasts quite a lot myself. Just started listening. I kind of thought I kind of learned my music listening. I used to listen to music all the time, and it's fine. Like, I'm nothing against people that listen to music all the time, but me personally, I just a bit of a mixture. So I decided to say, okay, if I'm commuting, I'll listen to a podcast. If I'm in the gym, I'll keep music, and that's how it started off. Then eventually, I started really enjoying the podcasts, and I started listening to podcasts in the gym as well. I know some people struggle with that, but for me, I'm fine to do it. So I started doing that, and I started learning a lot. I love hearing people's like stories and journeys and how people grew up and all that kind of stuff and tips, because I feel like like any problem that we've had, like it's the same. I don't know how religious you are, but like you can find like almost answer to anything in the Quran or whatever, or in the Bible. And the same way, because the problems that we're facing now have been faced in some sort of way by
maybe in a different form or in a different manifestation of something. But yeah, I think you're probably right there.
So that's the podcast. And then obviously I started looking at entertaining ones as well. Like so there's some like interview style which I like. Then there's so much just like debates or just talking. There's like sports ones I listen to. There's one called The Ringer, which they just basically talk rubbish about basketball every week. And I just loved it. Like I really like. I'm a bit of an addict. You probably see that I post about it all the time. Probably listen to like 2 or 3 podcasts a day, which is probably crazy to some people, but I just love it. Even like if I'm it's probably not very good for headspace. But if I'm showering, whatever, I'll just stick on a podcast. If I'm cooking, I'll just stick on a podcast. Like any gap of my time.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I think I'm pretty. I mean, what ones? I tend to be on YouTube style podcasts because I think that's probably why I end up doing this. I don't actually know if I'm going to carry on uploading on the audio only one because it takes a lot of my time to do that. And the YouTube one is ready to go. And if I'm doing hopefully one a day, can I do both? I think that's what I've got to think about. But football ones, there's 3 channels I watch. And then there's Rogan, and then there's some other ones that just every now and then you'll dip into, and it's like I don't know, it's like a familiar voice in a way.
Yeah, definitely. I do the same. My YouTube time, like lunch, dinner, this is when I just like it's always been. I just live with my mum only. She's working or she's in from work, so it would just be me stick on a YouTube video, eat my dinner, whatever, and that's just how I've always been. Even at uni, I'm the same. So I basically answer your question. I started it. I listened to a lot of podcasts and I really enjoyed them, and I started thinking about it on my own head. So like as you said, like it's a familiar voice. You almost feel like you start relating to people. You just feel like. When I was listening to debate ones, for sure, myself, I'd be thinking, no, but what about this? Yeah. Like in my head, I'm thinking like counter arguments, all this stuff. I'm like, wouldn't it just be cool to do this myself? And then this thought was in my head for a while. I think the trigger moment was really, I read a book called The Magic of Thinking Big, a bit of like a self-helpy book, but it's the first one I've ever read.
Yeah.
And for me, it was really good. I think like the type of person I am is that when I read or listen to stuff, I find it very easy to relate to people. I'm very and I always put it into action. For some people, like I say, they read a book like that and they just kind of shrug it off. They find it hard to implement it, basically.
Yeah,
like it's just like but for me, I find like, nah, let's see, and that book really made me think like the scope of what you can do. Like even I don't know, I'm working in the minute now on like an article to do with black people in dentistry and all that kind
I
of
saw something about that. Is that you
stuff.
wrote an
Even
article
that,
already? Was that on your story the day or something?
yeah. So
Right, yeah.
that was the goal, that's kind of like an introduction, and hopefully, if what I'm writing now gets published as well, more depth into the problems that black people face, some recommendations for fixing them, etc. So that even I can relate that article, like realizing the scope of things you can actually do, and it's quite easy because I'm just a student, for example, to think that realistically I can't do anything. And don't get me wrong, something like black people in dentistry is a massive topic. Historically, it's happened for years and years. It won't take just me. It'll take a lot of other people. It'll take years and years for anything to fix, whatever. But just realizing that you can have some sort of impact outside the realm of what the people around you might be thinking. Like, you're basically literally just thinking big, thinking big in general. So yeah, after that, I just thought, you know what, let's just start this podcast. It'll be fun. It started off a couple of interviews. The first ever was just interviewing my friend from high school. We talked a little bit about whether drill influences knife crime in London. We talked about how we grew up and just really broad stuff. And then every now and again, I'll do a debate. I call it group discussions. So we had one on is eating meat right? So it was me and 3 other friends, and we literally just go all out and just like talk about stuff.
Yes,
like
it is.
So
by the way.
So yeah, we talk about is eating meat wrong. We talk about is marriage an outdated concept. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we just like those group discussions and interviews as well. And we just I love it. I honestly love it. I never really had it as a money making thing. I'm not naive. I'm not naive to think that I shouldn't put effort into it because opportunities can come from it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not a job to me. I don't upload mega regularly. If I did do it really regularly,
right, okay,
this should just casual. When I want to, when I feel like it, to some extent. Obviously, I need to try and make it a little bit professional. That's why I have the intro, enjoyable for people to listen to. But it's not a job. So I just started doing that podcast, and I've had so much fun from it. I got way more listeners than I'd ever expect. I've got into contact with people that I'd never expect. And everything. That's pretty much how it started.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't even know why I started doing the podcast. I think it was kind of the natural progression from telling people stories in text form and a photo, because I kind of found that people weren't really telling their own story properly. Like on a text platform, they were just giving some crappy quote, which didn't really mean anything or say anything particularly meaningful. Like it was just some like little, not even a soundbite. You know what I mean? Like it's just a quote, and it's just like, well, that doesn't tell me anything about you.
Yeah.
And sometimes the picture was great and it did well, and sometimes the picture wasn't so great, and it tanks. And I was thinking, well, this is kind of pointless. You should really step it up. And then I did a few September, and then it tailed off because I got into the job. And also I was doing it in the middle of the dining room, so that's not going down well. Now I'm in my bedroom. It's much easier to do everything any time of the day or whatever. So yeah, then obviously I think where we're different is that I maybe see it as a bit more of almost a part-time job at some point. Probably because I've put so much effort in, like 3 years worth of building up the Insta. And then there's, like I've got an idea that I can take it on the road, but obviously you can't do that with no money. So that's kind of like why I'm saying, oh yeah, support me on Patreon if you want, and I'll go down to London and we'll do it in person. I'll just stick everything.
That'd be really good as well. Like the production quality would be great as well. Like,
yeah.
Everyone would like
no
that.
issues with bloody Skype anymore, because if anyone's seen some of the previous ones and things just resize, it's nothing I'm doing, it's nothing you're doing. It's Skype resizes due to the quality of the internet connection, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then you get funny audio issues, and you're just like, I've not touched anything. and it's just bad.
Yeah.
So in person would be amazing. And if I'm going to like a conference, there could be like 5 or 6 different people I can get out, half an hour, 40-minute podcast with, and you could just have like a much more like in-depth conversation with someone in a couple of hours in person than you could on over Skype. Although like it does work quite well, but it's different when you can see someone and like you can like properly get into it.
Yeah, I don't know. Out his podcast studio, get like the boys I do the group discussion with, just like get some food or something, and just like do like a proper episode in person. That'd be so good. Because obviously I recorded a lot in lockdown, so it's impossible to meet then. I think the very first episode was actually in person. We didn't have video recording we were together in person. We didn't record it with video, but that was really good, and that's how I wanted it to be. But then obviously lockdown happened, and then went back online. But yeah, I don't know, because it's interesting because, as I say, I'm not taking it very seriously. But then there was a point where I was uploading quite regularly, and then when I didn't, I like people messaging me like, "Oh, what's happening? I'm waiting for the next episode." Like people incorporate it into their morning TJ uploads and listen to it, and it kind of made me think like, "Oh, maybe I should." Like people were generally enjoying it, and the listens were way more than I expected as well. Then maybe I should.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe we'll see in the future.
Being consistent is so difficult, especially for ones like ours where you've got to have a guest. And I like to do things live because, sometimes we'll get more and more questions. I think at the moment I'm still building up that audience. But if you do something the same time every week, then people know to come on at that time. And I think that is a real thing. Like it makes a big difference, and it's difficult to get people, especially from across the world, to commit to a certain time on a certain day. Maybe that's something that I need to do. Maybe like a Friday night live or something where it's, I don't know, 9 p.m. UK every week, no matter what.
Yeah, that's what I need to also consider that as well. Change my mindset and try to commit to growth, and then obviously I'd have to be consistent and have to just do everything more professional.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's difficult for me to decide right now, and
it is hard.
This year is supposed to be most difficult for dentistry as well. So I came into the year thinking I don't want to go intense. This is the wrong time to start. Put the foot on the pedal. On the pedal. So
there's time there though, isn't there? It's just interesting how you can take something which is like a little hobby to start with and just like make it something that you can almost do as like a real thing.
I love it. Like I love the way the internet works these days. Like I've got so many friends that I've just randomly recently. Like I got a friend Moses, shout him out. He's starting like a gymwear brand. They're be posting soon. And then like Marijuana from Barts as well started a perfume brand in my year. Called My Rate Official on Instagram. So like you're just seeing like it's just crazy what you can do these days. Like the entry level it's just there for everyone.
Yeah. You can kind of make your own way if you've got an idea. You can execute it properly. Then you can really take things to the next level. I think you're right. Intro and outro is probably what I need to look at next. I have got one, which I posted on Instagram, which is quite nice, but I can't use the audio for that because it's a song. Because I did it on, I added the audio on TikTok and then exported it to Instagram before Reels started. The audio is perfect for it, but I'm gonna have to find something which is royalty free. So
yeah, that's another challenge in itself.
So hard. Should we call it a day there because we have done 1 hour 42, and I need to watch United lose to Spurs.
Yeah, you do. Get on with that.
Mate, it's been great having you on. I'll throw this up on the socials. If you've been watching and you've made it through our rambling conversation, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, get a comment down below, let us know what you thought of any of the points we made. Let me know if you want TJ back on again, because I definitely do. I think we've only just scratched the surface. I think there's a lot we've not talked about that we're probably interested in there. Maybe if there's no Rona in person.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Thanks for the invite as well.
No, it's fun to like get these like little stories out there. So
yeah,
hopefully we'll get you back on again soon. I'm wary of like not doing the same people too many times. Like I just need like a bit of turnover, because I could happily speak to probably like 5 people every week. And everyone's just like, come on, man, someone new. I was like, no, I'm enjoying it. But yeah, so I definitely want you back on, and I think hopefully you'll be one of my first calls once Rona does one, essentially.
Cool. Sounds like a plan.
And yeah, guys, like we said before, this is sponsored by not a real company, but all the really, really cool people on the Patreon group who've afforded me fun things like a microphone and stuff like that. So if you want to help out with running the channel, ideas and some perks, head over to the Patreon link, which is down in the bio. Make sure to follow TJ. Both his ats are underneath his video, which you should have seen the whole way through the video. TJ Cadio and TJtalks, both with underscores, 1 and 2 underscores after. So make sure you're following him. Podcast as well, which is linked in the link tree. So check that out. And